All right. Hey, hello, everyone. This is Mark from Coras. Thank you for joining us today for our CorasManage webcast. I apologize for the clunky start there, but I think we have everything where we need it to be. I'm joined today by Rafael Delgado. You may be able to see Rafael over there in your webcam, the nice red wall and Coras over his shoulder. Rafael is our National Sales Director, and he will be doing the majority of our presentation today. Before we begin, just a couple quick housekeeping items. One is regarding your screen size. Within the GoToWebinar interface, you have the ability to control the size. So to make sure you can see everything that Rafael is going to present today, you can manipulate that to fit your screen. Also, within your GoToWebinar panel, there is a opportunity to enter questions. So at any time during the presentation, you can type a question in there and it will be submitted. I'll be watching those questions on this side. I may answer some as they come in. Others I may hold, and we will reserve a few minutes at the end of the webcast to go through those questions so that everyone on the line can benefit. All right, so without any further ado, I'm happy to turn our presentation over to Mr. Rafael Delgado. Rafael, take it away.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us here today. We're going to do things a little bit different than some of the traditional formats that we've had before. We'll keep this a little bit shorter for everyone here today as well, and really focus on the value that we're delivering to our customers. So the first thing that we'll get started here, and make sure that I can get the screen to switch over. Really, CorasManage today is focused on delivering value to our customers, and the message that is resonating very well today is from 0 to organize in 60 seconds. So we're able to help our customers go from whatever methodologies they are using today in their traditional project management and portfolio management capabilities, and really take them to the next level. The reason why we're able to do that is because we're really the only solution on the planet that's focused in giving you your freedom back. And we really want to do that. We hear a lot from our customers today that the challenges that they have are not necessarily in finding solutions that can do pieces of the puzzle, but in the actual process and how they manage to get to the end result, which is delivering value not only internally, but externally to their customers as well. Recently, we've gone through and done some research, not only with our existing customers, but just in the marketplace in general. And what we're finding is that our solution is able to give back to customers 40% of the administrative time that they spend managing projects. That's the equivalent to 2 days a week. By being able to do that, our customers are realizing very significant dollar savings within their project portfolio management teams, within their deliverables to their customers. And in one example that we have as well for one of our flagship customers, they were able to recognize a $2 million savings simply in administrative costs around managing their projects and portfolios. So that kind of lends itself to the question, you know, why can't we do that today? I've got all these great solutions in place today, but how come I actually can't recognize those types of numbers in my own organization today? And the reason being is that the problem that we're faced with today is that without leveraging Coras, customers are finding that it is very clunky, it's very time consuming. These are all words that they're using with us. Disjointed. I actually just came from an on-site right now where one of the PMs there, lady, had said that it is just downright painful to manage the projects through the traditional methodologies that they leverage today. You know, with the advent of software as a service, there have been numerous applications out there that folks are taking advantage of, one of which is Office 365, who just recently crossed over 100 million users. What we're hearing from a lot of those customers today is that despite having at their fingertips these solutions like Outlook and PowerPoint, Project, Excel, and others, even Salesforce or Reich or any of these other technologies, is that the user adoption is very difficult within the organization, and human nature is for us to actually do the things that we find easiest, and we go back to those types of activities. And so even though they have these technologies available at their fingertips, they find it to be very disjointed. They find that they're having to do a very manual process, meaning they're adding information into software and systems today. But in order to aggregate that, in order to actually manage the project, they're having to send emails, they're having to do the dreaded data calls that I'm sure we're all very, very familiar with, and taking a swivel chair approach to managing their projects. And it shouldn't be that way. And our philosophy is that through a single interface, you can actually deliver the value that the organization wants with the user adoption that they currently can't get. So the short of it is, fear not, we've got you covered, right? And it's a very simple process from our standpoint in order to actually deliver the kinds of value that we're talking about here for you guys. Just three-step process as we look at it. One, upload your project plans. And that means really get started. And that project plan doesn't necessarily have to be a Microsoft project plan that you have today, even though our system out of the box does allow you the capabilities to import that directly into our system. So whether you're importing a project plan from Microsoft, from Excel, or other data sources, or creating one brand new from our system, you can do that simply at the push of a button. As you ingest that into the system, it's able to instantly recognize the project schedule, the tasks that are associated with that, and convert your existing project plans or new ones into an easy-to-use, very similar capability that you're leveraging today in these disparate data sources through our system. So one of the advantages there is that folks can still continue to use the solutions that they have in place today, and through a connector framework that we have underneath of the application, we can connect into those data sources so that folks don't necessarily have to manage and leverage our application. They can still continue to do the things that they want. The benefit is realized through taking that information, then aggregating it out into reports and dashboards and views that are holistically achieved through our platform. What we find is that usually within 90 days, our customers' adoption is through the roof with our technologies. And so folks actually do start to leverage our system and our interface instead of the systems that they use today because of the ease of use and the centralization of all the things that they're normally going through a very manual process today. The next step is sharing that with the team. And how do we do that? A couple of unique things that we have in our system today, and a couple of screenshots that I've got captured for you here today as well, is the ability to have a My View. And so within our system, you're able to see all of the tasks, the issues, risks, anything that is associated with you or projects that you are associated with, documents, all of the project KPIs. And this is configurable within the organization so that the relevant data that you want to see and forecast is showing up directly on your screen. The other aspect of this is that it's also interactive. And so by being able to see the tasks, issues, risks, activities that you have, you can navigate directly from this page here. As you see on the top left-hand side under the tasks, you can actually check them off if you've actually completed them through a very simple form wizard that you can modify as necessary as well. Access the documents directly from here. So it's not simply just a visualization, it's an interaction within the system as well. We do have the capabilities for the flyout. That gives you easy access to the system as well. From a reporting capability, which kind of leads us to the last piece of, we need to visualize this information, we need to share that as well, we need to report back to management, we need to actually make decisions on the information that we have, because not being able to enact a decision renders the information almost useless. From a reporting and visualization aspect, everything that you see here is available out of the box today. You're able to see a holistic portfolio view of any of the tasks, risks, issues, projects, KPIs that you have, again, available to you. The system allows you to security trim as necessary for specific groups or for specific individuals. Out of the box, it is also able to tie into Active Directory. So if you already have those built into your system, we can simply just tie into that. Different ways of visualizing that information through dashboards and reports to give you that real-time access of data, again, regardless of whether it resides in our platform, in our system, or whether we're connecting to that through our connector framework. What you're seeing here now is just another representation of the holistic data. In this one, you're seeing the KPIs across the top, red, yellow, and green. You have relevant project information for the different projects that are associated to that portfolio. Also, any of the tasks and issues and risks that are all rolled up and aggregated through all of the projects that are associated with that. As you go in to create the visualizations, one of the unique factors about our solution is that it does sit on our platform, giving you the ability to configure any of the things that you see here specifically to your business needs. So our customers are finding that by being able to leverage existing systems and tools that they have, tying that in to a very powerful platform, CorasManage, that can aggregate all of this information, they're realizing instant value to their organization by not only being able to see that information, to report against it, but then to enact decisions against that as well. The portfolios in our system work in a very query or report-like fashion. And so for any of the screenshots that you have seen so far on the system from those portfolios, the way that we build them out is instead of having to assign a specific project to a specific portfolio, then grant access to users in that capacity, anyone can create through a query building format the criteria by which they want the project information aggregated and rolled up to them. And so you can use compound or complex queries. So for example, we had seen the one before, the alpha portfolio. Maybe you want to see in that alpha portfolio all active projects that are starting in the month of October, that are over $1 million, that have 4 PMs assigned to it, and that are happening maybe in the state of Missouri. You can create that through the interface that you see here today to build that dynamic portfolio. You can even do it on the fly. And so being able to provide that real-time information back to the organization is one of the key values that our customers are coming back to us and saying this is really helping them today. We want to be able to provide back to you, the user, that work-life balance. We want you to have that freedom back so that not only are you delivering value to the organization, but you as an individual project manager or portfolio manager is able to then take that time savings. Imagine, what would you be able to do with an additional 2 days to your week? Even if it's only a matter of hours that we can give you back. Just imagine the additional value that you're providing back, the additional perhaps tasks that you're able to complete, as opposed to worrying about the minutia and the details around administrative tasks. So being able to leverage Coras and CorasManage specifically to manage your projects and portfolios allows our customers to regain that balance. The last piece of this is always the challenge for you, the customer, and that is, well, this all sounds great, Rafael, but you know, I've got these 3 projects that are eating up my time now. I'm short-staffed. I've got to do a couple of things here that, you know, I really can't get started today. The thing is that you can't afford not to get started today. You know, recent studies are showing that, again, 55% of somebody's day is spent on administrative type tasks around managing projects. And again, every day that you don't enact something is then creating an exponential curve for you to be able to bring that back. So the freedom that we want to give you and the freedom that you're looking for is actually a lot closer than you think. As a matter of fact, you can get started in less than 24 hours with us. Our solution is a software as a service. We can host it for you. We can also have that delivered behind your own firewall, a couple different ways that you can take that. But in less than 24 hours, we can spin up an instance for you. You can start to ingest those project plans that you already have today, create that very dynamic user experience, and be able to start delivering on this value. For anybody that's on the call today, we're actually offering a free trial of our solution through the end of the month. So we're so confident that it works, we're actually going to give you the solution for free for the next 15 days. And then for anyone that is actually signing up before the end of the month, so before October 1st, for your first year contract, we're actually going to go ahead and give you a 30% discount. We're seeing a huge amount of user adoption in the marketplace today, and we want to continue on that curve. We are becoming the de facto standard for managing projects in organizations, regardless of scale. We have customers that are managing projects in teams of 5 or 6 people. We also have customers that are managing over $4 billion, with a B, $4 billion worth of projects through our platform as well, with over 4,000 users in the system. So the system does scale. It does provide value regardless of what size that you are today. And again, the one piece that I want to make sure that resonates with everyone and that I get across here is that honestly, you can't afford not to. I mean, we're going to give this thing away to you for free. We're then going to discount it once you actually see all the value that you have there as well, and be able to show you that instantaneous value so that you can be the hero to the organization, show them a different way of doing it, and join in the belief that Coras has, that you can add a software-defined process to the manual low-tech type capabilities that you have today and really deliver value back to the business. That's the end of my talk. I know that there are some questions already coming in from the panel, but I'll turn it back over to Mark now and answer any questions that you guys may have. Thank you very much for the time today, and look forward to getting you guys set up on your trials here by the end of the day.
All right, Raphael, nice job. Nice and tight. So we did have a few questions roll in, and we can work our way through those certainly. The first one is regarding the recording of the webinar today, and we did in fact record it. All of you who attended will be sending an email to you probably within 24 hours. It takes the system a while to process that video, but we will get it out to you via email about the same time tomorrow. You can share it with colleagues, family, friends, as you see fit.
Hey, Mark, are you telling me that? I said, are you telling me that they can actually be in the system before they can see the recording?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, that's right.
Why even wait for the recording? Just get into the trial now. We'll go ahead and make sure we'll show them instant value, right? That's amazing.
That's right. You could make your own screencast or your own video of the product. Yeah, absolutely. Right. All right. So a couple others that came in too, Raphael. I know you mentioned it briefly, but talk a little bit more about the permissions and the security trimming.
Absolutely. So the system, again, we have some of the highest standards of security. We do have federal customers, 3-letter agencies, a lot of banks and pharmaceutical companies. So we've been put through numerous tests on the security side. So as far as a penetration type security, we have all of that covered. As far as being able to do internal security trimming, role-based type access, we have the ability to do that in the system today, and it's something that's easily defined within the administrative tab of the solution. As part of our onboarding process, we'll actually show the power users how they can go in and do that. And then the other aspect is being able to tie directly into Active Directory. So if they are leveraging an Office 365 type environment today, we can tie in with Active Directory and be able to connect the same type of security trimming or roles that they have available in their AD today.
Excellent. All right, Raphael, talk a little bit more about how a team would collaborate around projects or tasks or documents. Talk about some of the capabilities that are there.
Sure. So within the system, there's a couple ways to do that. We do have the ability to email directly through the system. So the user information that you gather, again, you'll have their email address in there for members of the team. You can send emails directly from the system. So that's one. We do have the ability and the capabilities of doing sticky notes. And so with the sticky note concept, just as you would with a regular paper sticky note, you can attach that to pretty much anything in the system, whether they be tasks, schedules, risks, and you can identify who you want the sticky notes to go to. So that's another way to collaborate within the system. And then there's also a full comment section, a threaded communication type medium in there as well, where even as early as the onboarding stage of projects and getting them through approval and actually kicking off a project plan, you can collaborate with members of your team even before that project goes live, all the way through project completion and then even afterwards. The last piece being the My Tasks, the My View, and being able to assign tasks to individuals there as well. And again, collaborating through that notification system or the sticky notes in the system. The last piece that I will mention is something that was brought up actually in an earlier meeting today, where the president of the company and I were chatting with someone. They were talking about a need to have almost a Skype-like communication system within the Coras platform, and it was something that was really intriguing to us there as well. And I know that's something that we're going to put up for discussion here with the tech team to see how we start going down that path. We do have a lot of those capabilities in a more static format today, but it is something that we will be looking at here in short order.
All right, excellent. We've got a couple questions here, Raphael, that came in regarding SharePoint integration. SharePoint integration, okay, or how we would envision CorasManage working with SharePoint or Office 365. Sure. Can you address that for the crowd?
Yeah, there are a couple of things here with us, right? And I think most of the folks on the phone are probably aware that we started in the SharePoint arena, so we were experts from day one in that space. The SharePoint integration with us is one of a couple of ways. We can either connect directly to the SharePoint environment in Office 365 and essentially use that as almost a repository so that we can connect and pull data from it and push data back into it. The other way that we can actually interact with that is on-premises SharePoint. And so even if you have our solution managed in a cloud environment, you can connect to an on-premises SharePoint environment, again, to be able to access the information there. The last piece is actually embedding the solution. What you saw there today can actually run inside of SharePoint so that the user experience is very similar to what they're experiencing today, almost none the wiser that they're actually leveraging a full platform inside of SharePoint. By being able to do that, the value that our customers are realizing today is actually being able to work around some of the physical limitations of SharePoint are then being expanded because by running our platform and leveraging SharePoint as more of a data source than the actual system that they are managing projects from, a lot of the limits are able to be broken because the data housed within Coras is actually done on a Mongo database. So it is unlimited scalability there. So that's those are a number of ways that we integrate with and work with SharePoint today.
All right, excellent. Got a couple specific ones here, or a little bit more specific. So Raphael, talk first about how the system may work as a project asset repository, for example. And then also kind of a side question of that is, are there any search capabilities built in?
That is both great questions. And from a searching capability, there are minor search capabilities available within the system today. Any of the data sources that we collect, you can search on. So as long as we have access to the information, you can actually search that, whether it be through querying, for example. if you're looking to do a search from a navigation perspective, you can do that as well in the system. As far as leveraging our solution, so that was kind of the second part of it. The first part you had mentioned was as a project asset management. Did I catch that correctly?
Yep, exactly. Okay. Yes, project asset management repository.
Yeah. So would that be in the capacity of assets to the actual project, whether they be resources, physical assets, or are we talking different than that?
I don't have much else, but let's just say project physical assets, such as maybe templates or project documents, things like that.
Sure. So we have the capabilities within the Coras solution today, CorasManage solution, to maintain those assets. Again, whether it's documents, templates, those types of things. We have the capabilities of actually attaching within tasks or within project process maps those assets as well. And they can either be housed in our solution or they can be housed in an external data source that we can connect to. The other piece is if you're talking about not just the assets from a document repository type asset, but physical assets to the projects, we do have capabilities around managing those as well.
All right, excellent. One couple more here, and then we'll wrap it up. So during the presentation, Rafael, you showed some various dashboards, some KPIs that had numbers attached to them, maybe the red, yellow, green percentages, things like that. Can you just talk about how the system leverages the data to create those reports and what those numbers indicate?
Sure. Again, the data that is in CorasManage can either be information that you are inputting into the system directly into CorasManage, or it could be information that is being gathered from disparate data sources through the connector framework underneath. When the system is then taking the data and presenting it in a visual fashion, whether through dashboards, reporting, those types of things, it is actually connecting and doing the query against all of the data sources that match that. So again, whether it's actually in our system or not. So the benefit that our customers are seeing is that those numbers are actually being pulled from a truly holistic, aggregated fashion across all of the data sources that we have access to be able to provide you the most real-time, up-to-date, accurate information so that you and the team can make the appropriate business decisions across that data. You don't have to worry about, calling Johnny and Susie and Jimmy and getting their information and then putting that into a spreadsheet, manipulating that, and then presenting the information out. One of the things that we didn't show here in the presentation today is what actually happens with the data once it's collected, and kind of the middle layer between the presentation layer that you saw versus the actual data being sucked in. We have capabilities now that we've built into the system, which gives you the pivot table-like capabilities. So some of the analytics that folks are traditionally doing in a more manual fashion, we are able to actually have that done through our platform today. So again, instead of having to take that information, copy, paste it, ingest it into a spreadsheet, and then manipulate it, having it directly tied into those different data sources and manipulating that data is giving folks a much faster, more real-time experience and exposure to that data. And again, from the presentation perspective, whatever you're seeing is usually whatever the criteria was that was set as we had discussed in that portfolio view. The last piece around the KPIs, which I want to touch on as well, is that we do both computed and manually inputted KPIs in the system. So we can work with you to actually put in whatever methods you use to calculate the KPIs today, as well as manually entered ones so that the system can calculate it and individuals can input their own.
All right, excellent. So let's do one more, Rafael, and this one you should have right and ready to roll. How is the product priced? Is it a monthly charge, upfront charges? Go over the pricing model for us.
Yep, the pricing model is done on a monthly basis, an annualized cost, and it is based on the size of the teams. Our solutions start anywhere from $6.99 a month and work their way up. That would be total for all teams, including everything that you saw here. So you can get into a solution for a very, very reasonable price. And again, before the end of the month, we are giving a 30% discount on those licenses to anybody that joins on.
Rafael, I hate to ask you this again, but right when you started talking about the pricing, your audio went very garbled. We didn't hear any of it. Could you briefly repeat that again?
Yeah, you're coming in a little garbled too. That I promise you that that's not a tactic. We will we will try that again. I'll hold up a sign this time. How about that? The solution is done on an annualized software as a service model, and it is traditionally done on a per user per month basis. What we are looking to do moving forward here now, as we are with the discount, the 30% discount, is actually packaging it by teams. And so that way we can deliver more value to the organization. So instead of doing it by unique user IDs for the individual licenses, we'll do it by teams instead.
All right, excellent. That all right, that covers the questions. There are a few left that were fairly specific. We're going to hold those, and we would be more than happy to follow up with you guys individually and answer those questions. As Rafael mentioned, we can get you in the product and answering your own questions here very, very quickly. So if you're inclined to do that, Rafael will be in touch, or you can reach out to him and get that going. But we do want to thank you very much for spending, the last 40 minutes or so with us. We know you have a lot of competing priorities in your day, and we're appreciative that you chose to spend the last 40 minutes with us. We certainly hope it was worth your while. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out, but I expect you'll be hearing from us shortly. All right, thank you all again. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.